So it's getting to the time now where it's been a little while since you've last had your lesson, and the chances are that your cello might be a little bit out of tune. So I just wanted to do a quick video just to show you how you can try and tune it yourself at home, okay? So the most important thing, the most helpful thing when you're trying to tune your cello yourself is to get yourself a tuner. So you can get these free if you've got a smartphone or a tablet or something. I myself have got an iPhone here, so I'm going to show you. You can get it free from the App Store. So I'm going to show you this here, this little one here, is the tuner that I have and that I would recommend. It's really, really easy to use. And I'm going to show you in this video how you can use it. So I'm going to pick up my cello to play just as you would. And as you can hear, it doesn't quite sound right. So I'm going to open up the tuner and I'm going to start at the top of the cello, so with my A string, which is where I would suggest that you start as well. So the great thing, I'm just going to turn this camera around. Here we go. So the great thing about this tuner is that it automatically recognises what note it is that you're trying to play. So you don't need to input what note it is or anything like that. So I'm just going to turn this around. Okay, so if I play my A string, you can hear that it's actually picking it up as a G. Now with this red line over here, it's telling us that that's really sharp. And you can see down here as well that it's somewhere between a G and an A that it's hearing. This is so out of tune that I'm not going to try and use my adjusters. So usually if it was just a little bit out of tune, you would use these ones here, which are adjusters. Okay, so I'm not going to use those because we're a little bit too much out of tune. So instead I'm going to have to use the peg at the top of the cello. Okay, so I'm just going to turn you around and show you how I'm going to do that. Okay, so these are the pegs up here that we're going to use when it's a bit too out of tune to use the adjusters at the bottom. So as we noticed on the tuning app, the A is very flat. So that means that we're going to have to turn clockwise to make it a bit sharper. It just tightens the string a bit more, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to follow the string all the way up to the top, and I'm going to find which peg it's wrapped around, because that's the peg that we're going to have to move. So for your A string, you should be moving this peg here, okay? So it's the bottom of the two on the left-hand side of the cello when the cello is against you. If you're looking at the cello, then it's on the right-hand side, okay? So what we need to do is we need to do this really, really slowly in really small movements, especially when we're going from flat to sharp. We don't want to turn the peg too much because, as I said before, it's tightening the string, and if we go too much, we're at risk of snapping the strings, which we really don't want to do. So we're going to go really slowly. The other thing we need to remember, as we're turning it clockwise, so we're going to be going that way, we need to be pushing the peg in towards the cello as well, okay? So that just makes sure that the peg is really gripping in. They're not glued or anything. So the way that they're kind of tapered off, if we're not pushing in as well, then they're at risk of slipping back down as well. Okay, so I'm just going to show you really slowly how we're going to turn it just a little bit at a time, and you can keep playing it in between. And if you still can't hear it, if you're not sure, you can get your bow out and you can check with the tuner in between each time. So that's getting there. Let's go a little bit higher. Alright, so actually, as you can see now, let me just turn you around. See now, just from turning the peg at the top, it's flicking a little bit between this yellow line here and being green. So this yellow line is on the left-hand side. If it was in the middle, it would all light up green, which means it's in tune. So because it's on the left-hand side, we can see here there's a little flat sign. And also here, it's just a little bit underneath the A. So we've got to the point now where we can use the adjuster rather than the peg at the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just check my A again, and it's still saying it's a bit flat. So I'm going to find this adjuster here. And again, because it's flat, we're going to turn it clockwise just a little bit. And let's try that now and see. There we go. this will stay green even if this is a little bit under or a little bit over. So when it's green, I just like to check here and make sure that it's right on that longer line to make sure that it's really, really in tune. So you can see it's still just a little bit under. And still a bit more, so I'm just turning it a little bit clockwise. There we go, and now it's right on that line, which means that it's perfectly in tune. Okay, so hopefully that's been informative and shown you just roughly how you can try and get your cello in tune. So say the best thing really is to have a tuner, because then you don't need to guess if it's in tune. It's literally just going to tell you if it's in tune or not. And then, yeah, if you're using the pegs, just go really, really slow. And if you're not sure, just ask.